All right, guys, welcome to the Internet Sports Broadcast Network. We got everybody back. We've had some guys out, Todd, Donovan, Smooth Dave, Hardy Burke. Todd Donovan hooked up with some buddies.
That's right.
Give us a recap. If you remember any days you were at the lake, that would be nice.
Well, Todd.
I mean,
Todd,
all I saw was pictures of y'all taking shots.
Todd Exotic showed up several days.
I love it.
Not every day, but several days.
Well, the good thing is I got in a little bit of trouble, but I didn't have to do any apology tours.
That's good.
And,
Didn't pay any fines. No fines.
No police. Yeah, no police.
Okay, no fines. Good.
Oh, it was just good, clean, wholesome fun.
And you wore a mask the whole time, right?
Yeah, I actually made a mask out of two N95s and I wore them like a bikini. You know what I mean?
Ah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, alcohol does make a difference, doesn't it? All right.
We ate some food. We caught about total like 22 or 23 catfish.
Yeah.
Cooked them up, and we ate steaks and brisket and chicken and sausage and poppers and about everything.
Hey, so guys, to remind everybody that y'all do this annually, why do you do this, and who are these guys you're with? You might want to let this listening audience know.
Go ahead, Tom.
They're all Marines.
There you go. All right.
That's right. Yeah, we've been doing this for about 22 years, once a year. And it used to be kind of, we pick a different fishing hole or a lake, and we'd all meet out there. But with the accommodations that we have here at Lake Travis and it being central with Texas and everything else, we've had it there, Lake Travis, I don't know, for the last 4 or 5 years, I think.
I think that's awesome. How many guys do you get to show up from the Marines, guys? What kind of group do y'all generally have?
It kind of fluctuates, and people kind of come and go over the week that we're there. I think the most we had there was 11 Marines, 12 Marines.
That's cool.
Yeah, this year. Yeah. I mean, we've had some big years where
we've had 18 to 20 some years, and 9 other years, but. We have people coming from all over the country.
I just think it's awesome. Yeah. Thanks for serving us again. I want our listener audience to know you guys served our country. Thank you very much. Okay.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
And I'm glad you guys had fun and glad you could skip out last week and leave us high and dry, but we appreciate it. We thank you very much. Hey, Smooth. Let's get started tonight. Everybody's been talking about it, so we might as well too. Let's talk about The Last Dance, and anybody jump in right now that wants, and I'll bring up some of the cool lines I heard, okay? But y'all go ahead.
When Michael Jordan decided he was done and Phil Jackson was done, I don't know if that's the true way to say that. I think he actually still wanted to play with the guys that he was playing with, even though he said he was kind of ready to retire too. I just wish it was so much easier for them to, even though they had a lot of money they were going to have to spend on those guys, the Dennis Rodman and Scottie Pippen and the guys that they released. I would wish they would have won another at least 2 years together to make that happen. I think some of them would have took some pay cuts just for it to happen. So I don't know.
They were awful good.
Yeah.
Awful good. Smooth, after seeing all the documentary and being a part of all that stuff, what was your final impression?
Well, there's a couple of things. I've been hearing a lot of chatter over the past few days after it was all over. Former players on the teams and, taking shots at Mike and, calling him, a liar, and so forth. Remember, this is Michael's documentary. If you wanted your documentary, you could have made one
right
before now. I mean, that's just the bottom line. This is a documentary produced by him, his thoughts, his feelings. So therefore, it's slanted his way. That's what he wanted. And so anything you have to say, go make your own. A lot of people have been saying that they didn't like the way Scottie Pippen was portrayed in the documentary. Um, I think Pip at the end, especially that game where he hurt his back when he tried to play,
And
Mm-hmm.
did play.
showed his toughness.
Yeah.
I mean, because he could have just sat on the bench and like, I just can't go. But he went in. He was a decoy. He did score a couple baskets.
Right.
He did what he could. He helped the team to win.
Yep.
They talk about the incident where he decided not to play the last 1.8 seconds because the play wasn't called for him. It was called for coach.
I don't even remember that. I've watched every one of their games. I don't even remember that happening.
Oh yeah, I remember. It was very famous, very famous.
Right, but I just don't remember it. It kills me.
Yeah, and
they won anyway.
And Mike wasn't even on the team. That was the year Mike left.
Right.
And guys are questioning, well, why was that even in the documentary? Well, if you remember, the night after it happened, the morning of, Mike called the Bulls and he talked to somebody, and I can't remember exactly who it was he said he talked to, but he was like, man, Scotty was wrong for that. That's selfish to do something like that, and that's something that he is going to hang with him for a long time. And he was absolutely right, even though, they portrayed that Scotty apologized to his teammates, but when they interviewed him for the documentary, he said if he had to do it over again, he'd do the exact same thing. So, yeah. I mean, what do you want him to do? I thought that it was brilliant the way this documentary was put together.
Yep.
Yeah. And this 10-part series where, it starts out talking about the last year of this team being together, but then, you flash back to that first championship, then the second one, then the third one.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit about the years Jordan wasn't there when he played baseball, and then coming back in on that fourth championship, then the fifth one, and then these last two episodes really focusing solely on this last year together, and to see the drive, the competitive nature of Mike in practice, and all he wanted out of his teammates is for them to be their best. And it showed in some of those games. Scott Burrell was one of his whooping boys. Mm-hmm. Hey, Scott Burrell had a nice game one game. He scored 23 points in the game.
Yeah.
He did that because he was pushed to be his best in practice. A guy like Steve Kerr. Yep. Look, Steve Kerr hit some clutch jump shots for them. Why? Oh, yeah. Because he was pushed to be his best. You can argue that Mike was a bully, but if you see Mike's competitive drive in nature, look at what it did for him, and he just wanted the people around him to have that same mentality, and it paid off.
I'll tell you something that caught me by surprise was when Michael Jordan was doing Space Jam, and they built the I don't know if y'all talked. I think it was this the 9th episode?
We didn't talk about the arena they built. Go ahead, Donovan.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they built his basketball court and workout facility for him, and he started bringing all the players in
and got him back in shape
from
basketball.
Yep, and from all over the league, and he brought some of his players that he knew, and he said, we're just scouting right now. We're just playing them. We're scouting, but they said that they had some of the best pickup games, ever. And I would have liked to have been a fly on the wall there. They talk about the 92 Dream Team, their practices. I would like to have been a fly on the wall for a couple of days of those. Anyway, I thought that was cool.
Wouldn't it have been fun? And you know what? I have a couple observations. Let's start with the first one. First one, I'll go back to what Smooth said, and that was that you got to see the whole life of Michael Jordan in basketball in 10 shows, an hour and a little bit longer. That's amazing. You think of all the Michael Jordan highlights, everything he's ever been a part of, and you think that you pretty well understood who he was when that documentary was over, and you were into it, right? I mean, you couldn't wait till the next one started to see where it was going. That's how cool it was. The other thing was one line at the very end that got my attention was when he looked up at the press after they won the 6th championship and said, "Hey, if we don't quit, they'll never beat us."
Yeah.
What a line.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that I don't understand these sports announcers probably weren't raised during my time playing sports, but I will tell you that your coaches chewed on you in the 60s and 70s, and leaders chewed on you on teams to get better and to challenge you. So, you know, I know we live in a different time today, but I don't think Michael Jordan's being a bully. I think he was being a leader. Leaders make other teammates rise to a level, keeps them in the game, keeps them focused. You know, they may not like it. I didn't like it. My coach used to rip me around, right? But he made me better. So my thoughts. That's unbelievable documentary.
Yeah. Top to bottom, great.
Yeah. And really, you know, it also showed the league back in the 90s was really, really strong.
Yeah.
You know, and that Bulls team, I mean, they had to fight and claw. They had some tough series against the Pacers. You know, Orlando gave them a little bit of fit. The Knicks gave them some fits. But, I mean, I'm with Mike. They should have been able to come back and defend their championship that 7th
Yeah,
year.
I would have liked to have seen them do one more year. That
Because
would have been cool. They could have made it happen.
To me, looking at that team, there's nobody that could tell me there's a team that could beat them 4 out of 7 games. Not the way they were playing. I couldn't see it. I just couldn't see it. So, you know, they should have been given the chance to defend themselves again, but it wasn't. So, you know, so be it. But, you know, it was a great documentary. You know, really, for me, I hope it gave individuals, these new school players, a better appreciation of the game. Being able to see Michael Jordan, his drive, how much he put into the game to prepare himself for it. To know. I mean, think about that last championship when he hit that shot over Russell with Utah.
Yeah.
Talking to him before, he already knew that guy's tendencies on defense.
Yeah, he knew how he could get him, and the guy just completely fell down, man.
He said he plays on his feet, on his toes.
On his toes. Yep.
So,
lost his balance.
Exactly. And he knew that going in, and he knew, hey, I got this guy.
Yeah.
You know,
I just had to make the shot, man.
Exactly.
I thought it was kind of ironic that him having words with Russell when he was a rookie, I guess.
Yes.
When he went to go visit Karl Malone, I think it was Karl Malone. They went to go visit, and the guys kind of talking smack to Jordan, and Jordan's looking at him like, what is going on? So this is when he was retired in between, right?
Yeah. Yes. He
was
said,
playing baseball.
Yeah. He said, why'd you have to retire? You know, I know I could have got you. And he told Karl Malone, he said, who is this kid? You better tell him. You better talk to him.
I don't know. It's just kind of poetic justice when that comes back around.
Yeah, he came back to haunt a lot of people. And I think it was fantastic that what motivated him. I thought it was interesting in one of the shows that in the playoff against Coach Daly, right, that they were friends and Daly walked by him, and he took that and made it the game and kicked their rear.
Yeah. You know, another thing, too, was the respect that Michael had of his peers.
Yeah.
You know, you saw Karl Malone get on their bus after they won.
Even Reggie.
Yeah, Reggie Miller. You know, how Jordan met Larry Bird in the hallway after, they beat the Pacers, and they shook hands and laughed and joked. And so, those guys respected him for what he did for the game. And it was just, again, it was the person that put this together, amazing job. I mean, I would hate to see the footage that we didn't see. He probably could make
think about how long he sat on it. Think about how long he sat on that, on all those that footage.
For the perfect time to use it, and look what it came about and how he
Yeah.
could put it up. It was
Yeah.
just brilliant. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I look
Yeah,
at it from the
absolutely.
marketing side. I always do.
Oh,
You
sure.
know, and he had just the worldwide audience. Number one is
Oh.
Michael Jordan. Number two, they did two at a time, and they didn't drag it out for 8 years, right? Like
Right.
they do in some of these shows. They got to
Right.
it. I love that.
Yeah.
Every hour had meat all the way through. All the way through.
Highest rated documentary on ESPN to date.
Yeah. I can't imagine if it played again, it would still be highly rated. There'd be
Yes.
people that watch it over and over. I'm sure people recorded it to watch it over and over.
Oh, I have all 10. I say,
So what was Smooth Dave? I don't have it in front of me. Who did we interview that played for the Seattle Supersonics? Who was that?
Derek
McKee.
McKee.
Yeah.
Did he play
Yeah.
for them when they were in the playoffs against the Bulls?
Yeah, he was playing with
Oh,
Indiana.
Yeah. So
And they showed him in some of the
right. I
clips
thought
there.
I saw him in some of the clips. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now he didn't say anything about him.
Yes. No, he didn't.
That's usually a good sign for another player.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, everything was directed at Reggie.
Right. Right. I know. I understand. I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that I thought I saw him in one of the games. I just wanted
Yes,
to
yeah, he was there. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
absolutely.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. So it was good.
So we witnessed a great documentary, and I guess we can segue out of that a little bit and talk about we're finally getting some sports back, and at least they're talking about people getting back in line. NASCAR started. I guess some of y'all got NASCAR up in front of you right now. Maybe tell us who's leading and what lap they're on, if you don't mind. Somebody just throw it out
Boyer's
there.
Up, Blaney's in second, Truex is third, Bowman fourth, and Logano in fifth.
Okay, cool. Thank you,
Yeah.
Todd.
Looked
I
like
bet
they're on
Todd's
lap
over there
55.
watching. Yeah, can't drive
Lap
55.
55.
That's right. Can't drive 55 either. Hey, so but has Cam been picked up yet?
Not yet.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I figured he would be at some point. All right. Enough about the NFL.
Well, he backed off his demand that he didn't want to. He wanted to start, so
right.
he's back down off of that. So
just give me some money, I'll sit on the bench. It's okay.
That's it. That's it.
Aldon Smith for the Cowboys got reinstated, which is good for the Cowboys.
That's good for the Cowboys. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I was kind of surprised. He was kind of a double, triple whammy guy with some issues. So, yeah, he's got it reinstated. I was kind of – and Rob Gronkowski's trying to gain some weight so he can catch some passes from Mr. Brady down in Tampa.
Right. And did I hear a couple NFL players got arrested for burglary?
Oh, yeah.
Who?
What?
I don't get it.
They're bored.
I don't get it.
Yeah, please.
Excuse
They're
me.
bored. Come on.
Excuse me while I slap you.
Yeah.
I mean, what else is there to do when you're –
Yeah, please get back to playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Hurry up. The whole NFL
I think there were
suspended.
I think it was at least 3 that were arrested over the weekend.
Yeah.
Let's see, Washington Redskins player Cody Latimer, he discharged a firearm.
Oh, there you go. Brilliant.
Yeah, and then 2 other players were arrested for robbing a group of people at a party.
Yeah, at a party.
Yeah.
Guys, we're so happy we're here. Guys, we're so happy you're here. Can I have your wallet, sir? I need your wallet.
Did you say DeAndre Baker and Quentin Dunbar?
Yeah, those are the 2.
Yeah.
That were at the party.
Oh well.
Allegedly.
I couldn't pass it up. Sorry, we'll move on.
Yeah, allegedly.
Okay,
allegedly
so guys,
robbed people.
What about this? What about baseball, man? I mean, are they ever going to get started with this? And why aren't they started now? With no fans.
Because everybody's been so programmed to be scared that they're going to die.
No kidding.
So I think the reality check for Americans is when you look at who the virus has taken down,
Yeah.
they were already in danger of being taken down by anything else. So I would encourage everybody, hey, wash your hands. Be careful. If you don't want to go out, don't go out. But I think the rest of us, should just
gotta go live our lives, man. And they should be playing baseball. Even if it's in empty stands, just start the games. Let's go. You got TV. Let's go. All right, enough of that. It's just been no fun not having sports to watch.
I know. And it's like, how long do y'all think that it'll take people to get over?
I think it's going to take forever because you've got one side talking, everybody's out there risking everybody. And then you got the other side that's saying, hey, I need to go back to work. So,
well, the Big 12 and the SEC will play football this year.
Good.
They will. You mark my words on that. Because
Good.
There's
They have a lot to lose. They have a lot to lose.
There's too much. Yeah, there's too much money involved. The networks want them. The presidents want them. Athletic directors. I say the presidents of each of the schools. There's too much money generated from it. There hasn't been any crazy hot spots in the South and the Midwest per se, other than I think Chicago was a pretty bad hot spot for a while.
Yep.
But they've been doing better, and I think that I think it's time. You can have a football game. You can have a baseball game. You can definitely have a golf game, which I thought was really cool. Guys, they did that live.
I think we got this weekend, don't we, have the matchup with the Tiger, Phil, and Peyton, and who else was that? There's
Tom
four
Brady.
guys. Brady. They're playing this weekend, correct? Yes.
Like a skins game.
Yeah. It's live this weekend.
Yeah, it was live last weekend.
Oh, it was last weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah.
No, that was a different skins game.
Yeah, this is the new one's this week, right?
But I thought it was live.
It was.
Okay.
Yeah,
I missed
it was different players.
Yes, but it was it was 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? Week ago. I don't know. All I know is it was kind of cool that it had no crowd, and it had four of them, and it was a skin game.
Like the average gambling game of four guys go out and play golf on the weekend.
They were all mic'd. Yeah. They were all mic'd up, and you could hear what they were saying. They were like some of them like mini talking trash, and they were like gripping it, ripping it.
Well, who played in this one that I missed?
So Johnson, what's his name?
That's right, John. Okay, but Phil and Tiger and Brady and Peyton play this weekend, right?
That'd be fun. That'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, that's coming up this weekend. That's what I was talking about. Sorry about that.
Man, and Tony Romo could work all of them other than Tiger, but
Tony Romo's a good golfer.
Very good golfer. Yes.
He always finishes and wins that celebrity one they play out in Tahoe, right? So he does really well, and he's a good announcer. He's turned out to be a great announcer.
Yeah, he's been one of the. Did you see the contract he got? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, a bunch of. It is embarrassing.
Wow.
I wished I'd known him.
Well, no. The thing is think about it. They do a lot of research on the team that he's literally announcing one game a week. So he works for 4 hours. I say works. Let's just call it what it is. He works for 12 hours a week. Right. Because he does his research, practices. I don't know what his prep is. He doesn't have to prep on what he sees because he's lived it his whole life. Right. And when he sees things, before any commentator I've ever seen, he's like, "Oh, yep, they're going to run to the right." They just
that's why they're paying him so much, because he sees these things and he keeps that audience in. They love it. They love it.
He's got good timing when he
great
talks.
Timing. And he's funny.
Yeah. So
funny.
Yeah, but there is going to be college football. I don't know if California, the Pac-12 or Pac whatever it is now, is going to do it. The ACC, I think, is on the brink of saying yay or nay, and the Big Ten, who knows with them. So, but
you know what they should do, right? We should get our do-nothing politicians to pass some legislation that absolves any business, any school, university, any place where people gather and say, hey, we're not going to allow any kind of lawsuits. Nobody's going to be liable. So, if you pick up the flu somewhere, you can't sue, the stadium, you can't sue the school.
Right.
Because I think a lot of this, issues with things not opening up is the people that run them are worried about lawsuits.
Absolutely.
And that the Trial Lawyers Association is salivating at the mouth right now because they see all the potential, lawsuits against, businesses, schools, any kind of entity that's out there that's going to host a public event. So I think our government could help us out by, putting some legislation in place saying, you want no lawsuits. And that would get things going. We'd have football season.
And so what do you think this is going to do, Todd? Because you've been really involved in researching this, Donovan too, even Smooth can have some comments on this. So how does it, going into this, because we've had so much time off, what is this going to do to the NCAA rule about paying the players? How do they build their brand quickly to start getting paid this year?
Once everything gets rolling, and we start getting stadiums full of spectators,
It'll be all back on track. Yeah.
Yeah. And we get some new stars out there, we're going to see some of those, endorsement contracts. And I'm kind of for it. I think it's exciting because, these athletes, they really trash their bodies, providing us with wonderful entertainment.
Yep.
And so I think they should be able to make some money on it.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree totally. And I think it doesn't actually kick into 2022. I'm not for sure with the getting paid on their likeness on certain percentages and everything. I mean, the only thing is it's a muddy water when, when you get sponsored by outside. They're not saying the University of Texas or Oregon or Alabama can actually sponsor and do things for a kid. But if you have an alumni that says, okay, I want you to come and autograph 500 shirts with your name and likeness on it, and I'm going to sell them for yada, 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 and you're going to get % on it. I'm going to sponsor you.
Right.
And the kid gets 90% of everything. I mean, and he makes, the bigger schools that have the bigger alumni with the deeper pockets are the ones that are going to benefit from that.
Yeah, and I think too that when you really look at the numbers, I think there are only going to be a handful of like superstars,
right,
that are going to really be able to monetize this and make some serious money off that. I think probably 98% of other college athletes aren't really going to even have this opportunity to make additional money that way.
No, you're right.
But I still think that I thought about a plan. I still think that when a kid comes in, let's just say to University of Houston, okay, and they get a number, I think they should be assigned a number when they get there, right? And if they're good enough for places to print that number and sell, I don't care if they're a tight end, a walk-on.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Anything in their likeness, as far as their number on an official
on anything,
Houston
program,
Cougar,
anything,
right, program, they should get a %.
Right.
Everything.
There
it doesn't
go.
matter. At the end of the day, when they leave college, I think it should be in a fund. They don't get it monthly. It should be in a fund when they leave. Now, there's been debate on should they only get it if they get their degree from the University of Houston, or should they get it when they leave after 2 years and decide that college is not for them? I don't know. That's up for debate. But I still think anybody, because the walk-on throws his head around and gets banged up as much as any of the people, the first and second stringers. I mean, they're punching.
Well, practice teams get tore up pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to say they do.
So I think they all should be compensated in certain ways.
Yeah. Well, they'll figure that out, and I think that's coming. So that's cool. Hey, Smooth. Something I meant to ask you earlier. When you were watching the Last Dance, did you see anything that just brought back huge memories when you were up there?
There are a few different things that I saw that, kind of, it's like, man, yeah, I remember that. But I think one of the biggest things for me was the magnitude that Michael Jordan had on that city. I mean,
or anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, everywhere he went, he owned it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people picked up on the closeness of his friendship with Ahmad Rashad, because he was pretty much everywhere Michael was at.
I kind of got the feeling that as the documentary went on, you discovered who was working the documentary with Michael.
Yeah, Ahmad and Michael were really close.
And that's who was doing the documentary. I promise you. He was the guy putting this all together, and because they snipped to him, and you could see him sitting in the rooms and kind of directing him a little bit, it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Good point.
So,
good point.
They're real close, and so he'd hang out with Mike and everything. But again, like I said, it just brought back the memories of just how popular he really was. I mean, and then also about how he built his brand. How he took his brand and just, man, it's phenomenal. I mean, to this day, it still makes him millions and millions of dollars. Because Mike's a businessman.
Well, I remember when he was playing, anytime he introduced a new shoe, you couldn't get it.
Right.
They were gone within an hour.
Yes.
It's
still that way.
And now that you got the internet, people can order them all day long online.
That's right.
They can produce them, and people love them.
Did we discuss? I don't know if it was like what episode it was that his mom made him go when he was entering the league, and Adidas and all the different.
Yeah, no, we didn't. Go ahead.
We need to talk about that.
Yeah, I love that. Yes.
How close? How close was he to being a Converse or Adidas?
Really close
over Nike, and it just goes to show, he's like, my line, I'm not doing that. She's like, you're gonna go and you're gonna at least hear him out and give them respect, and so he goes out there, and his so what was interesting, his not attorney, but his I'm at a loss for words right now, but his agent, yes, his agent was saying, look, I want you merchandise. I want you to have your own shoe. And I thought that was really cool when he just said, we're not going to do it unless we get it. And this is how much. And Nike went, man, we're going to roll the dice. And they did it. And I mean, they haven't looked back.
And I think that Nike, being just almost a brand new company at the time, got to build their brand really quickly because of him too, right? Well, and the other athletes they started to bring on after that.
He made Nike. I mean, if you ask me,
I agree. I agree. And my point is, think about turning down Adidas and Converse, who were the leaders and been around forever.
Yeah.
And taking on this thing called the swoosh or Nike, who wasn't even hardly in existence at that time. Mm-hmm. Who ever heard of Nike? Nobody.
He went to Chicago, and they weren't anything at the time.
They were nothing.
Right.
So, I mean, it's kind of one of those, I'm going to a franchise I want to build up. Why not build a shoe company up? Let's do it.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. The other thing about the documentary, you mentioned about the strong influence that his parents had on him.
Mm-hmm.
Huge.
And I don't think we talked about the raw emotion after winning the championship on Father's Day.
Oh, yep.
Well, that was the first time I ever heard the audio from that picture of him in the locker room on the floor. We've only ever seen video.
The still shot or the picture without the audio.
With no audio. but to hear him sobbing
He was
like
bawling.
that, yes,
Yeah.
that was just that was very emotional and gut wrenching to see that.
I got a little tear in my eye with her talking about the loss of his father.
Yes.
Which,
Steve
you know,
Kerr.
Steve Kerr,
Yeah.
a lot of people didn't even
Yeah.
realize that his dad had been in Beirut doing that, right? And
Right.
and here's this guy that was trained by Michael that's won, what, 2 national championships with the Golden State Warriors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Winning
Well,
keeps going, doesn't it?
It does. In fact, I told my wife the same thing. I said, if you look at the tree of who's been influenced by Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson
Right.
on how to win and what you need to do to win. I mean, you think about it, Steve Kerr got the best of both worlds. He got to learn from Michael the actual basketball game, and he got to learn from Phil Jackson, one of the best coaches of all time, mentally on how to deal with things. And that's why I think he's a great coach. I mean, but who knows?
And
He's still early.
and I think this documentary also highlighted the coaching style of Phil Jackson.
Mhm.
You know, Phil was pretty laid back, and you know, he treated the players like they should be. And when Pippen got hurt, had surgery the beginning of the year, Rodman had to step up. So when Pip comes back, Rodman's like, "Look, I've been giving him my all.
I'm going
I need
to
a little
Vegas.
vacation. I need a vacation."
Yep.
You know, and Phil allowed that. You know, and he came back and he didn't miss a beat. You know,
and was fantastic in Game 7. Of the series with all the rebounds and everything he got. If you go back and watch that game, he was a monster.
Yeah.
Rodman was a monster.
Or he blew off practice during the playoffs to go do the wrestling event.
Right.
You know, and, he got fined, I think, $40,000 for that.
He didn't care.
But he got paid $240,000 use of a private jet to show up at this wrestling event. Right. So, I mean, he won.
And he was a monster on the court, and he did great.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's all.
He didn't cost his team at all.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Again, but Phil knew how to manage his guys. He knew how to motivate them. He knew what they needed, and it worked for him. You know, very rarely did they have problems on that team. And so Phil's style was perfect for that team.
Yeah, and with all the fluctuation they had with Horace and some of the big players he had to manage. You think about the stars he had on that team he had to manage. They were all good. They were all good.
Yeah, exactly. So, good time. Good time.
I loved it, guys. I loved it. I thought it was one of the better documentaries I've ever seen on a sports figure that was real, that had a lot of realness to it. You don't get to see those a lot. You always see the good things, right? I've seen a lot of the ESPN 30/30 shows, right, that they come on with, and this stomped it.
Oh, yeah.
This stomped it.
But there's some good ones.
I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this thing, you got to know Michael Jordan, and this what's impressed me so much, because I do a lot of video work, and I'm telling you, to put together 10 hours worth of video and to give you that kind of story from beginning to end, and you know exactly what the story is about when it's over, you're either a fan or you're an idiot.
Right. And here's the other thing too to keep in mind. This documentary wasn't to follow Michael Jordan around in his personal life to see what he does each and every day. This was what he did on the basketball court as a player, and what he did in practice. They didn't interview his kids until the last episode,
right?
And talk with them. So this was strictly about MJ, the player. That was it. In fact, none of those interviews that Michael Jordan gave were in homes that he owned. He refused to be filmed in homes that he owned.
Wow. Yeah.
Now the kids were in his old house that's still for sale in Chicago. That's where they did their interview from.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
So when we look at this, I mean, how many generational role models do we have? I mean, Michael Jordan has influenced what three decades of kids now.
And yeah, nah,
Yeah.
yeah, 3
So I
decades.
mean, who else is out there that can even hold a light, you know, to MJ on this? I mean, you think about the sway and the influence that man had and still has to this day on sports and basketball. I mean, it is unreal.
The only other person I could think of it comes close is Tiger Woods.
Yeah, and Muhammad Ali.
Because Muhammad Ali, because the kids that are playing against Tiger today were thought he was unbelievable, and mimicking him. But you're right, Todd. Still, Michael is still kind of like, you know.
I think he's like number one.
I do too. I do too.
You know, for just like, you know, people that know of him and people that watched him and
I do too.
People that have been influenced by him. I mean, he's one of a kind.
Did y'all know I got it? Yeah, I got his autograph when I was like, I don't know, 12 or 13. No.
Oh, wow.
I did. And
That's
actually,
awesome.
I have it in my scrapbook. I never got it authenticated, but my buddy and I were staying in the hotel across from Reunion Arena in Dallas there. Back when it was Reunion Arena.
Yeah.
I think we were staying, I don't remember. It was a nice hotel we were staying at. And we had heard they were staying there. And so I was with a family that was kind of not wealthy, but had money. So we stayed in a nice place, and we were always a big Chicago Bulls and Jordan fan. And I think it was in, I don't remember, but I got Sellers. You remember Sellers?
Brad Sellers. Brad Sellers.
Yeah.
I got his autograph in the crafts room. What do you call that? Where you could buy stuff at the hotel. I mean,
the gift shop.
Yeah, gift shop. Yeah,
there you
he
go.
was in there. He had his headphones on. And of course, he was like 6'7", 6'8".
No, he's like 7 feet.
Yeah, he's pretty big boy.
I'm saying, well, to a 12 or 13-year-old, I mean, he's tall, you know. And he signed it, and then I went, and we were right by the bar, and turned around, and I can't remember who else was there, but we went to our room, and they were fixing to go play, and my buddy said, "Let's go down to the lobby. Maybe Michael Jordan will come down." And I said, "He's not gonna come down. There's got to be some secret way to get out of this place." But I said, let's go. And we're sitting in the lobby, and there were some other people there, and I look up, and Michael Jordan's coming down the escalator, and I'm going, "That's Michael Jordan is right there." And everybody goes, "Wow, Michael Jordan." I take off to the front. I asked the person at the desk, "Can I please have a piece of paper?" 2 pieces of paper and a pen. And they said, "Yes." And so like everybody crowded around him. There's probably, I don't know, 10 or 15 people. And I yelled, I don't know why I did it, but I yelled out, "Y'all leave him alone."
That's great.
And they all stopped, and he turned and walked. And it's been a long time, but there's another escalator, I think, that went down, and then you walked out the back of the hotel that goes across to Reunion Arena.
Yeah.
And I'm not for sure on that, but my buddy and I,
right.
Mike Ludlam, who's a dear friend of mine, that he doesn't live near me, so we haven't been like together in a long time. We'd pick right up where we left off, you know, next time I see him. And these 2 ladies, they were in their 20s and just hanging on him. And the 4 of us are walking with him. And I said, "Can I have your autograph, please?" And he looked at me. He said, "Yeah." And he signed it while he was walking. And my buddy put his up there, and he signed it while he was walking. And that was it. But
wow.
We went to walk with him for, I don't know. It's kind of weird to say, but probably 100 yards. And we were talking. And, "How's the game? You ready for the game?" "I'm ready for the game," he said. and he was trying to ignore the women, actually. And they were like draping themselves on him. And anyway, that was my moment with him that I thought was cool.
That's a good moment, Donovan.
Yeah, it's cool. But I have it in a scrapbook. I just never got it authentic.
I just can't. Your excitement level just went up to 10, brother. That's cool.
Yeah,
I mean, and how old were you at the time?
Man, it was before his championships.
But
so
I mean, yes.
I was probably 13.
That's
13,
awesome. What
14.
a great age to meet a
Yeah.
sports star.
So
Wow.
it was before 87. I think it was in
That's-
85. 85.
That's before. That was just when he was cranking
86.
up too. Yeah.
86. They hadn't won a championship.
No, but they were knocking at the doors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
That's awesome, man. What a great story. I think
Yeah.
we'll finish it there tonight. So how's
It
that?
was cool.
So Todd, give us a recap on Darlington before we step off the air tonight.
Truax #1, Harvick, Byron, Dillon, and Custer.
Right, and Harvick won last Sunday, so here we go.
For me.
If we can go out and get a big sponsor after this year, we should
Yeah.
just go ahead and put Donovan on an airplane and go to different arenas and be live from there.
I would do it in a
I
heartbeat.
know you would.
I'd have a blast.
You'd be our beat reporter. We'd send Smooth around. Yeah, he'd be. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Anyway, it was fun. So
Good stories, guys. Thank you tonight for y'all being here. I'm glad y'all had fun fishing. Smooth, thank you for all you do. Again, brother, we appreciate you a lot. I'm glad you're on this with us. And guys, we're going to wind down.
all
I
right.
hope everybody has a good week. Thanks
Same
for
to you.
tuning in. You'll get the links in the next day or so. Please share them out to your buddies.
Will do.
And we'll be on next week. And if y'all have anybody come up, or if I need to call somebody and get them, push them a little bit, let me know. Okay.
One thing real quick.
Sure.
Memorial Day's coming up.
It's Monday. Yep.
Yep. It's coming up before we talk again. Shout out to all the veterans and
Yes, sir.
those that we've lost. And
Yes, sir.
anyway, I just want to send that out to everybody that listens to it. God bless. And anyway,
Yeah, I
us-
mean, we
take us out, Hurdy.
Hey, I'm just going to tell you, we want to thank all the veterans. Memorial Day is huge. I'll be putting my flags up and thanking you guys, making sure we salute to you guys. And everybody have a great, great week. Thanks for
You too.
listening to the Internet Sports Broadcast Network. Good night, guys. Good night.
Night.
Good night.